Hey everybody, how's it going? A couple weeks ago I made a video about how I like to do 100 reps in 20 minutes using EMOM, every minute on the minute. And a friend of mine contacted me and was like, hey Ryan, I like using EMOM, but have you tried not counting reps? And I was like, no, why would you not? How would you track your progress? The whole idea of not counting reps was kind of baffling to me. And for anyone new to the channel who doesn't know my backstory, basically I entered high school looking something similar to a human marshmallow. I was so overweight. So as the end of high school approached, I realized if I ever wanted to lose my virginity, I would have to do something about that. So to lose the weight, I started lifting weights and doing lots of cardio. And the results were pretty good, as you can see by the afters. I mean, I definitely turned around, made a huge difference in my physique. So that was great. But the point is, coming from a weightlifting background from my late teens all the way through my 20s, it was all about how much weight I was lifting and for how many reps and sets. So I was always counting reps. Fast forward to my 30s, my first daughter was born. I couldn't get to the gym, so I started doing strictly calisthenics. And again, with calisthenics, I was counting reps, right? How many push-ups in a set, how many pull-ups, how many dips, how many lunges, squats, etc. So it's always, for the past nearly 20 years, it's been about counting reps. That's one of the variables I've been using to track my progress. How much volume am I doing? So naturally, when a buddy of mine suggested that I just not count reps, I was kind of baffled. I was like, well, how would that work? And I thought, why not? I'll give it a shot for like a few days or a week and see how it goes. And it was a really interesting experiment and something I wanted to share with all of you in case you're always counting reps like I was. So the first thing, and I think this is probably the most obvious thing, is that when you're not counting, that means 100% of your focus is going to be on your form, all right, on that mind-muscle connection. Meaning for every rep, you're going to be 100%, all of your mental capacity is going to be focused on that feeling of the muscles contracting for that movement. And what's great about that is it means you are 100% focused on the quality of the movement. So once I was putting 100% of my focus on form and technique, things just started naturally happening without me even realizing it till I watched footage of my workouts later. Like for example, my reps were slower. I just naturally slowed down the tempo that I was doing each repetition. I also started doing pause reps, right? For those of you who don't know, a paused rep is when you pause maybe at the bottom of a push-up or at the bottom or top position of a pull-up. And pausing like that really adds an element of like an isometric hold at a difficult part of the movement to really help you develop strength and perfect that movement. Again, I did not intentionally do these things. They just naturally happened. And I thought that was really interesting. And of course, it's a result of finally having 100% focus on form and technique. And you might think that you have 100% of your focus on form even when you're counting reps, but trust me, it's not like that. For example, you might have a target amount of reps that you usually get. For me, with the example of like an easy pull-up variation, like let's say chin-ups or neutral grip. I find neutral grip pull-ups to be quite easy. So jumping up to do neutral grip pull-ups, I usually have in mind like, oh, I'm gonna get 15 reps. But watching back the workout footage from this past week as I wasn't counting, I was doing far less than 15 reps. Everything was slower and I was just doing the movement with 100% of my focus on perfect form, or as perfect as I could get it, I should say. The end result is that I would get maybe 6 or 8 reps or something that is like 50% of my max. But because I wasn't counting, I had really no idea. I mean, I could feel that it was less reps, but I didn't know till I watched the footage later just exactly how many reps I was getting. Despite the fact that I was getting less reps, I actually felt like I was getting a great workout because for every repetition, I was really contracting. There was more tension. You could say there was more muscular tension on every rep, right? Not necessarily more time under tension, maybe, maybe not, but I was just creating more tension and contracting the muscles harder on every repetition because that's where all of my focus was at. Now, mainly I noticed this on upper body exercises, but on lower body exercises, it was kind of different. I think the best example of this was when I was doing walking lunges on my driveway one day. It just felt like every set was eternal. I was just focusing on keeping good form, but there came a point in the set when I was like, when is this going to end? I just felt like I could keep going and going and going. And, you know, watching the footage back, I think it was like 33 or 34 reps per leg that I got. So like almost 70 reps for the whole set, you know, for both legs, which I think is pretty average if I'm just doing normal lunges or walking lunges, but it just felt a lot longer. But as this week drew to a close, I was like, I have to share this with my audience, because the number one thing that came out of this experiment is that when you focus 100% on the mind-muscle connection, and you're not counting reps, you're not aiming for a specific target, you're not going to compensate on form to hit a certain number, you realize that fitness is a practice, right? You've probably heard people refer to yoga as a practice. But typically with calisthenics and weightlifting and other forms of resistance training, we tend to look at it as a workout, right? We have a goal that we're trying to reach, like do X number of sets and X repetitions in each set, with maybe with a certain amount of weight if you're adding weight. But this is different. Like, you start to just look at each movement as a practice, and you're trying to perfect the movement. And when you take that approach, you really feel a different type of benefit. Like you're perfecting form, and that's still benefiting you a lot, but in a different way than just running up the numbers. All right, I know this is kind of deep, maybe it's hard for me to explain, but I hope you get the gist of it, and I highly recommend trying it if you haven't done it. Even if it's just for a few workouts or a week, just stop counting. Just focus on mind-muscle connection for every rep, and you can always go back to counting. I've gone back to it, and to be honest, what I'm doing differently now is my reps are lower. Okay, like for instance, I'm just doing 12 push-ups in a set. I'm doing 8 pull-ups in a set. And I'm gonna stay at that number for a while and just try to make those 8 reps or 12 reps or however many as perfect as possible. All right, so for those of you who've done this before, you didn't count, or maybe you don't count, maybe it's just a regular part of your workouts, or maybe you're going to give this a shot, make sure you come back and you let me know in the comments, how did you feel about it? Do you feel the same? Like, each rep counts more, like you're getting more out of everything because the mind-muscle connection is stronger? Because that's what I felt. All right, and for those of you new to the channel, make sure you give that subscribe button a little TLC, all right, and check back, because I'm posting videos at least once a week. I love just exploring fitness, especially body weight fitness, plant-based nutrition, and I just want to share with everybody everything I learn about how we can be healthy and fit without relying on a gym. All right? And with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you then.